Good day, everyone. Good day. I am Southern Wolverine. This is the general of my Athenian army, and this is a river battle. Let's go ahead and bring back the interface and on pause. And actually, this standoff has been going for some little time by now, which is one of the reasons I don't usually play river battles. Because usually the first guy to become impatient loses. First guy to try to cross usually takes a beating, and it very quickly kind of becomes a slugfest. But in an effort to mix it up, I thought I would try one of these. I hadn't done it in a while. Try something a little different. So I got Athens. So I've got a mixture of Cretan archers and Balearic slingers, about half and half for my skirmish force. 4 units of garden variety pikes, 2 citizen cav. My generals in have a Payas Lancer unit. 2 militia hoplites for holding / sacrificial units, and 4 thorax swords to help push the gap. Now, like I said, first guy to become impatient typically loses. You can take that as a foreshadow or whatever if you like, but I have become impatient and I started to move my skirmishers out. And this guy, the Roman player, has absolutely done the right thing. He's taken his Syrian archers, that he's got 3 of them, and he split them out into a nice long skinny line. Now this is actually a 2v2 battle, so he's also got a unit of Syrian archers over here, and there's a Suevi army facing off with my Roman ally. And there's not going to be a whole lot of action over here though, really, for quite some time. There's going to be a little forays back and forth and stuff, but the bulk of the fighting will be down at my end, so I'm going to focus there. Also, I'm slightly selfish and I would just like to show you what I did. And I would like to pontificate, if you will, on the micromanagement, I guess. What happens if you do it well, and what can happen if you do it poorly. So, here in an effort to mix things up, because I'm all blobbed up my skirmishers, that's bad news. He's in this skinny line. He's going to do much more damage to me. I'm going to try to run my citizen cav out and run a strike on these missile troops, but he blocked him off. He moved his auxiliary infantry into the way, and these levies, he's even going to put the levies in front of those guys to screen them even more. And some of my archers here are actually targeting these guys, because I did have some of them just sitting on automatic and not targeting, so there's me retargeting a bunch of them so that they're not shooting these guys, because really targeting auxiliary infantry is just a waste of my time. Pretty much anything I've got other than the militia hoplites can take those guys down, although I wouldn't want to send the citizen cav after them either, I suppose. You see, my guys are just getting hammered down here. So that unit's already down to half strength. This one's even worse off. It's wavering. It's down to just 30. And look, his archers are still reasonably healthy. Even this one that I'm focusing on still has 50 men left. And that's all he's lost. So because of the depth of my formation and the fact that I can't really spread out any wider, my guys are just getting spanked. Even though really 6 Cretans and Balearics should be able to just trounce 3 Syrian archers on an open field. But of course we're not on an open field, so much for that. Now some of them are going to start targeting my pikes as I push through, and I'm going to try to establish a beachhead in here-ish. So I've just sent 2 pikes through. I'm bringing the other 2 back. The idea is that I can put these 2 kind of out and have the other pikes form a, half circle of pikes facing in every direction. Let's pop over the other side. See, I'm getting all lined up. I don't want to sit here and wait. I didn't want this to become a, how long can we make this battle kind of situation. So I am damaging these Syrian archers, but it's costing me way too many skirmishers. So I kind of have to take some kind of action. So as I'm doing that, you see here's one of those back and forth forays. Some of these archers of my ally got overextended, and the Roman cavalry and some of the noble riders for the Suevi, or scout riders rather. He has some noble riders somewhere, yeah. Whatever, they're around somewhere. So that was one of those little counter forays, but they're not, heavily engaged like like I am about to be with my Roman adversary. So he's gone and spread out. He's starting to make a half circle around me, hoping to get the flanks of my pikes, I suppose. So I've moved the militia hoplites out in front to kind of use them as a screen against the remaining Syrian archer units. With the idea that these guys have actually decent shields and stuff like that. They should be able to take a charge reasonably well. He's going to try to flank charge me with these levies, but even though they get into the flank of my pikes, they're basically going to do nothing. So I'm not really sure what he was hoping to accomplish. They must have been out of ammo, or maybe he was just trying to hold me in place or something while these Equites Extraordinari tried to get something done, but they really don't have an angle. They don't have anything they could really hope to accomplish. He has, now this I'm starting to worry about, where he spread out. He's got these 5 Evocati cohort, and he started to split them out. These Socii Stati Extraordinari do get a charge off, but they get kind of blocked on their own guys. They don't get a great charge, so I still have most of that unit. And I'm starting to target my remaining missiles on them. They've backed up a little bit, and are trying to support from here. So you see my missile troops have taken quite a beating. I've only got a couple of units nearby to support, although a few... I think this unit routed is going to come back, so I will end up still having 3. So I try to get some pikes face this way, and this is where I'm talking about micromanagement. This is a kind of odd terrain feature. This right here is actually like an impassable feature. So getting these pikes positioned is proving to be really, really painful. So no matter what I do, there's kind of this flank here that these melee infantry could kind of get into and cause problems. So I tried to form a big line to push out against them, but this other auxiliary infantry group kind of pushed in on me. So I'm bringing them in. The Swabi's bringing in some of his noble riders. So these pikes have gotten into a situation that's no good for them. And now I'm kind of scrambling. Here's another little micro move, trying to get these pikes turned, but that's going to leave their flank very much exposed. So I'm just going to pour thorax swords, and I got the militia hoplites in here, trying to hold off these Evocati and auxiliary infantry. Now I know that militia hoplites won't hold long, especially these ones here that are trying to slow down these Evocati cohort. They're just getting trounced. Even in hoplite wall, they wouldn't last terribly long. But I threw them in there because these pikes got out of formation. So I'm trying to get them lined up. I do have thorax swords here matched up on auxiliary infantry, which is a fight they will eventually win, but they're not winning it fast enough. Because what I need to do is hold with my pikes and then try to break on one side or the other and get my cav out and start doing hammer and anvil strikes and things. So for now, I've got cavalry just kind of supporting on these flanks to keep my pikes from getting outflanked by these Evocatis. You see in here, he did kind of wedge this unit into the corner, so I responded with auxiliary or thorax swords, who we're getting trashed by those Evocati. These pikes are behind, trying to poke through and help. Not really accomplishing much at the moment, but these thorax swords would have been needed to be in a thinner formation for that to have any chance of working. So fortunately my line's still holding, although these militia hoplites are starting to waver. So I'm going to get the pikes positioned behind them and just try to get them out of there, because I don't want them routing, so I don't want any mass routes starting. And I'm doing the same thing here. I'm going to try to get the pikes lined up and pull those militia hoplites out. And now these pikemen got all jacked up. So this is where, in my attempt to outmaneuver my enemy, I actually kind of outmaneuvered myself. And this, look at this, there's a hole right here. And sure enough, a unit of Evocati cohort is going to get in and start working on the flank of my pikes. So I'm going to have to send in my reserve lines, my militia hoplites, my cavalry to try to hold them in place. So I'm maintaining my front barely. They've got a bit of a breach here that I'm trying to contain, trying to get these pikes turned. So even though this is kind of a brawl, kind of a slugfest, there is a lot of little micromanagement going on. So now there's a hole that one or the other of us could take advantage of right here. So I saw this cavalry moving out here, and I sent my melee cav, my citizen cav in there to try to hold them off. And even though they didn't get a great turn and charge, look, they just trashed that citizen cav unit. They're already taking some casualties, but not that many. So in any case, now I've got my pikes coming into these Evocati, so I'm starting to get this flank turned. So all I have to do is hold in the center, and although it's getting ugly fast, you see these Evocati are pushing in here. But now the Hippeus Lancers are free, and the Hippeus Lancers are going to come out in here and just get a great charge on these Socii Equites Extraordinari. They're going to end up taking them out, although it's going to take them a little bit longer than I would have liked. In the meantime, the Citizen Cav were running interference charges on these Evocati cohort, trying to keep them from getting a good rear attack on my pikes, who are wavering. And now they're going to come over here and get their own rear attacks at my kind of salient that was starting to create here. So some of these units that are getting sandwiched are now really going to be in trouble. And here's a pretty good little micro move from him coming here in a second. He's going to get his Evocati cohort out here and actually attack my thorax swords. Yeah, there they go. He's going to actually get a rear attack on my thorax swords because my pikes can't really pursue him, and I didn't catch that immediately. But his unit of, lance unit over there is gone, so now my Hippeus lances are free, so they're going to join the hammer and anvil attacks, since the citizen cav are about to be routed by the general. So now my missiles, what's left of them, is going to start targeting these evocati, since I have finally spotted them, and my thorax swords are kind of in trouble at the moment. But these rear attacks are getting the job done, and his main line is collapsing, and I've got this flank turning hard. So it's only a matter of time, basically, before this goes into my favor. And by this point in the battle, the Swaby player had actually quit. I guess he got bored of the slugfest. So his troops have just charged into a meat grinder of Roman troops, and they really have no chance of success here. He hasn't even committed his legionary cohort yet, but he really doesn't have any chance of that. But because he quit, and the Roman player conceded defeat as he realized his line was breaking and my rear attacks were taking him out. In fact, here was another one coming in that pretty much would have finished off the last of his infantry anyway. So he went and called it, and even though there were Swaby troops left, he had left the game, so that conceded the victory to my alliance. So in any case, this is one of the rare cases where I won a battle but lost more men than my opponent. In fact, my ally also lost more men than he killed. Although that was in part that we simply deployed larger armies than our opponents. Particularly the Swaby he had sword masters and berserkers and noble riders and expensive stuff. And this unit of German Scorpion actually did a fair bit of damage to me. It was kind of over by the Roman player, but it wasn't able to do enough damage to turn the course of the battle. I wasn't even really paying attention to it. I tried to hit it with slingers at one point before I started this up in the early stages of the standoff, but it didn't really accomplish much. In case you see, my slingers and all my skirmishers just got absolutely routed, absolutely destroyed, compared to like 247 on these guys, 179, even this one 107, not half bad. That's the unit I was focus firing on. They still got 107 kills. And that just goes to show you how important formation depth versus width is on skirmisher engagements like that, because his overshoots still had a chance of hitting guys and my overshoots were just hitting dirt. So that worked out for him. Some of my pikes did okay pushing through, and really my swords did better than I'd expect, and my Hippeus lancers had some pretty good hammer and anvil and counter-attacking. So in any case, I hope that was interesting. I hope you saw some of the micromanagement that happens even in a battle that by any account is more or less a slugfest. You can still do things to turn it, and you almost saw me do something there to lose it by getting my pikes out of position. So in any case, thanks to Pedro Sanz 79 for playing as my teammate, and a good game to our opponents Tiburon 1997 and Sergeant Derp. If you like this video, please go ahead and hit the like button on the video, comment, subscribe, etc. But for now, I am Southern Wolverine, and I would like to wish all of you a good day.